Hang Time is part of the Globally Balling Network, and you can check out our social media. That's facebook.com/globallyballin. Instagram, don't forget to follow us at Globally Ballin Official. And don't forget also to tweet us. You can tweet us your suggestions of who you want us to interview in all kinds of sports here in the Philippines. That's at Globally Ballin. And for all of our sports fans, we've got more shows for you here from the Globally Ballin Network. We have the Globally Ballin podcast, an eternity of basketball, hang time, and who the heck are we? Just check it out on our YouTube page. That's at Globally Ballin. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time we release a new video. And we have a new network show. Help us welcome Who the Heck Are We for sports opinions and stories. It's available on Spotify and on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and follow. If it's still not enough that ball is life, well, for all our shoot lovers, basketball lovers, we've got an eternity of basketball just for you, provided by the Globally Ballin Network. Again, available on Spotify and on YouTube. And for a quick and easy way to find us on all of our social media and all of our different shows, you can check it out. Our link tree that's on the site right there, and you can find the link at the top of all of our show descriptions. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Hang Time with me, Denice Dinsay. And for this episode, we're going to be joined by volleyball extraordinaire, 100% volleyball player, but also 100% frontliner doctor. We have Doc AJ Pareja. It is such a privilege to have you here on my podcast and to give your time to us. I know how busy you've been, Doc AJ.
Thank you, Denise. Been a long time coming, and I'm glad to be here.
Because you've been up to a lot of things. Before we get to your latest endeavors, which is now entering the world of social media and being an influencer in every sense of the word, that you are also informing people. So let's put that there for later, because I'm sure you have so many insights on how that has been, since everyone has had a quite interesting journey with social media. But let's focus on volleyball, of course. Now, you were able to play for two leagues. Well, two legs sa BVR, and the other one in Asia. You were able to travel pa. So tell us more, I guess, about the experience of being able to travel and still play beach volley, which is something that you're very passionate about.
Yeah, so finally, last October, we had the BVR, which was scheduled like siguro more than a year before na, and it always got postponed until October we were able to play. And it's the first time that I'm playing with my partner Henry Picaña from UST. We're of the same generations of UAAP. Not so long ago, but yeah, it was a really good experience for us. So there were two legs over 2 weekends. So the first leg, medyo kami doon. We didn't perform to our best. We didn't make it into the semifinals, but it was a good experience for us because it's our first time to pair up, to be partners, and to play in BVR. And when it comes to new partnerships, that's where everything is a learning experience, getting to know each other. Even if we've been training together since around March, we all know naman sa beach volleyball kasi there's just two of you. And we usually compare that or associate that kind of partnership with or similar to a marriage yan to a personal relationship. So even if from May to before the BVR we've been training together, we haven't been put in a situation of high pressure na dun sa first leg of BVR, dun lumalabas yung nai-irritate kami sa isa't isa, yung naiinis kami, yung pag may ginawa ako na ayaw niya, he'll voice it out, tapos ako naman, I'll be defensive na, it's because this is our strategy. Yung mga ganon. Lumalabas yon sa first time when you're in an actual official tournament where there's something at stake talaga. Because before sa training, pag nagkamali ako, okay lang yan, let bawi tayo. Tapos pag mga tune-up games, if we lose a set, parang okay lang yan, bawi tayo. But this is the official tournament na if I do something wrong, if he does something wrong na wala outside of our strategy talagang, we take it against each other agad eh. So, it's a nice experience to the point na we regroup for the second leg. Eventually, we were able to show what our strategy, our game plan is, and fortunately, we were able to bag the silver, which was enough for the federation to at least consider us to represent for the Asian Seniors Championships nung November in Phuket. And yeah, it's such a pleasure because it's my first ever international tournament for beach volleyball.
Oh, wow. How did that affair, with beach volleyball began? I know you describe your partnership as a marriage, pero this whole stepping into beach volley, how did it start? Because you're a great player, but of course people knew you indoors. Just biglang all of a sudden, well, I wouldn't say more passionate, but you are more vocal about your love for beach volley compared to indoor.
Yeah, well, do we have enough time for that? But yeah, sige. I started my career with volleyball in general since high school, then college, then semi-professional. And ever since naman, talagang indoor lang naman talaga yung sikat dito. And when I made a career out of indoor volleyball, especially during university sa Ateneo noon, as a balanced player. Like, I know I'm tall player. I'm the tallest actually during my generation. And I prided myself and sila Coach Oliver na I can play different positions in indoor
Yung
volleyball.
versatility.
Sometimes I'm middle, sometimes I'm sa wing. Tapos, as a middle blocker, hindi ako pinapalitan ng libero sa likod. I also do passing. I also do floor defense, which is unusual na in this day and age of highly specialized play for indoor volleyball. So, I think it was a double-edged sword for me when now that indoor, at least locally, has embraced the modern way of being highly specialized. Dati kasi nung time namin, pag kaya mo to play different positions, dun ka nababrand as a good indoor volleyball player eh.
Yeah.
But right now, in the international scene, in the high-level scene, you're a good indoor volleyball player if you're the best at the position you play. So talagang super specialized. Kung setter ka, you're the best setter. Not in other positions, but you're the best setter. If you're a middle blocker, you're the best middle blocker. So yun yung basis ngayon eh. So when I tried to also to do professional league before, parang I'm too well balanced for indoor. But that's a quality that is good for beach volleyball.
Okay.
Because beach volleyball, you do everything.
Yes.
Passing, setting, blocking, defending, hitting. So, parang I found myself more appropriate for beach volleyball right now. But the journey to that wasn't it wasn't a short cruise na from indoor, I transitioned immediately to beach eh. It took several retirements. Several retirements. Like sa indoor, I retired around 2015 when we played SEA Games indoor volleyball sa Singapore.
Yeah.
I was the captain then and Coach Oliver was the head and parang I decided right then and there na after this I'm done with volleyball. I'm gonna focus on my medical career. So I let go of indoor volleyball that time. I retired. Then around 2019, yeah. So in between that, I focused on medical career. I went to the cruise. I also practiced there as a doctor. Then around 2019, when I was back here in the Philippines, no, 2018, sorry. There was a beach volleyball world tournament held in MOA. Care of sila Charo, yung BVR team. They brought the FIVB World Tour 1-star. And I was part of that, but not as a player. I was the medical head. I was the medical head for the event. I was the doctor in charge of the tournament. And when watching there, parang nakakainggit. Nakakainggit. Parang when I see the players na parang, okay, maybe I can do this still. Kasi I see players from other countries who are much older than me and still
Yes.
playing beach volleyball in the World Tour. Pero ano lang siya, parang ano lang siya, passing thought lang na parang,
Yeah.
okay. Then the next year, 2018,
19.
19?
I think, was it in Bora?
Boracay, kasama ka, di
Yeah,
ba?
we met. This is when we met.
Yeah.
I
So,
thought you were gonna
Boracay.
play, and then why is Doc AJ wearing the staff, the volunteer
Yeah,
uniform?
the
I was like,
staff, yeah. So, yun. So, sa Boracay tayo nun.
yeah.
I was again the head doctor of the event. And I see players, nainggit na naman ako. And that was the parang the
Yung catalyst, yung
clicking
turning point.
Yeah. Turning point na, okay, I wanna do this. When we get back to Manila, it's not that I will train volleyball again, but I will just get my personal coach to get my body ready in case an opportunity comes up. So shout out to my personal strength and conditioning coach, Pawix, who I've been working since. Yeah.
Very updated.
Okay. So yeah, shout out Coach Pawix. I've been working with him since 2019, immediately after yung Boracay na yun. Tapos, yun na, snowball na I occasionally I join trainings ng mga other beach volleyball teams kung sino man pwede kong salihan. Yeah. Then 2019, that's the same year for the Spikers Turf, the indoor team.
Oh yes.
And Signal, yung coach nila si Coach Dexter Clamor. He was my teammate before in the professional league sa Sistema. And usap kami, parang, wala bang plans ang Signal na magtayo ng beach volleyball team? And sabi niya, sige, I'll bring it up with management. Then we'll see if we can work something out. Tapos he got back to me, sabi niya, well, right now we lack a player for indoor, for middle. And try mo kaya, play lang sa amin, one conference. Then if we do well, maybe you'll be on the better side of the good side of management pag nilapitan natin sila about the prospect of a beach volleyball team. So, sabi ko sa kanya, but ano na to? As in, last na to. It's one song na talaga to for indoor volleyball. I'm done with indoor. So, I played for Signal in that one conference and we won the championship, which is my first ever career championship for indoor. First and last. But after nun talaga, I can't indoor na. At hindi na kaya na ng tuhod tsaka na. Kasi it's so much different from beach eh. Kasi sa beach, it's yung low impact on the joints because of the softer surface.
Yeah.
So, yun. But unfortunately, it didn't materialize yung Signal Beach Volleyball team. But Charo here, who's always been one of my biggest supporter, reached out if I'm interested in Creamline because they're building up a beach volleyball team. So, I jumped in the opportunity right away. Kasi once in a lifetime na merong a team na dedicated to beach volleyball. But pandemic happened. So sayang. But all throughout the pandemic, I also had a personal online beach volleyball coach. His name is Mark Burek. He's an AVP pro from the US. He's also he also represented the US for some tournaments for beach volleyball. So we've had all throughout the pandemic, even if I cannot train in the sand, at least I'm enriching my knowledge of the sport. And it really helped me embrace further beach volleyball because I'm getting to know the scientific basis of everything in the sport because any sport is a science din eh. Oh, by the way, you can cut me off if you want. I'm just gonna be talking all throughout.
No, this is good because I like from what I gathered, like you just talking about your experience, it's you don't do things half-heartedly. Like you are grasping the whole, like every part of beach volleyball. And it shows. It is very evident by what you post, by your views on it, your insights, even by the way you talk. And I wonder what was so different about beach volley that you have this much investment and love for it compared to indoor. Because with indoor, you had, as you said, a couple of retirements. It wasn't really there. But here with beach, you're investing your own talaga. Like this is from your own pockets by your coaches. Also with yung si Coach Mark, yung sa AVP also.
Yeah.
This is now out of your own volition.
Yeah.
So, like, what was, I guess, if you could put it maybe in a word or in a sentence, as cliche as this question might sound, but what makes beach volley so special?
Okay. Well, before that, on that note of you saying na I don't have asked something that I'm into, parang, I don't know if you're a fan of Cobra Kai, the series on Netflix.
I've seen, yes.
Yeah, you should watch it. It's so good. It's so good. It's so inspiring. Like, I'm a sucker for 80s, 90s nostalgia, but the way they made it accessible to the modern age, it's really good. But one thing that really stuck with me there is si Mr. Miyagi, yung original sensei of Danny LaRusso, the Karate Kid. I think it was on the second or the second movie ba? Or the first yata. He told Danny that if you're gonna go into karate, imagine yourself like a grape on the road. Like it's either you do it or you don't. No in between. So like just a grape. If you go on the rightmost side of the road, which is like going all the way, you're safe. If you go on the left side of the road and don't do it at all, you'll be safe. But if you stay in the middle, half-hearted, then you get squished.
Oh, that's true.
So, yeah, it really resonated with me. But with beach volleyball kasi, in indoor naman before, I learned to appreciate the sport whenever siguro because of my medical background na din, I get to appreciate something if I know the scientific basis of what's happening. Yeah. So sa indoor, whenever I watched instructional videos from the elites and I get to appreciate it a little bit more. But it was in a time na I'm not physically already, I cannot physically keep up with that kind of intense demand for the body.
Yes, I get
I'm
that.
studying it, but I cannot apply it. Parang ganon. So that's when I'm guesting sa mga TVL, UAAP, doing commentating. I know the background, I know the basis, I know the analytics for the sport. It's just that I'm not practicing it, you know. I'm not actively. But compared to beach volleyball right now, it is much more, I don't know. It's a whole different sport compared to indoor. Just the basics might be the same, but it's a whole different sport. It's not just indoor volleyball na lagay mo sa sand. It's not like that. If you want to piss off a beach volleyball player, tell them that it's just indoor being put on the sand. No. Sobrang different niya. And because of my online coaching with Mark Burick, and now I'm having my online coaching with Sam Pedlo, who is a beach volleyball player from Canada, Olympic level beach volleyball player. So I'm really getting knowledge from some of the bests in the business. And the more I understand the scientific basis of beach volleyball, the biomechanics, the strategies and the placements, and me being able to apply it myself. So parang dun ko siya mas na-appreciate. And the more, kasi you can't just learn and not apply it. Parang you maximize your learning if you can apply it. So the way that I am applying it right now, that's the more I learn about the sport, the more I get to love it, basically.
This is, I think, mas lalo ko nang nakikita ngayon what you also brought up a while ago about really being well balanced. You described yourself as a well balanced player, and that was because you were good in all the aspects that became a double edged sword for you back then. But now
Yeah.
I've seen na you've learned to properly wield it so that it wouldn't be a double-edged sword anymore.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
it's interesting to see like the puzzles like go together and how you explaining everything. That's why Doc AJ, I don't think it's a rant because you're putting the pieces together. It's becoming more coherent and you know
Yeah.
more balanced. Like the yin and the yang, everything
Yeah.
is making sense, and it's that's so hard to do. I guess some people in general and in principle get too caught up with either the technical all the knowledge aspects and fail to let the body and the application keep up. And because aside of course being sometimes it's a genetic lottery, there's a lot of will that it takes to
Yeah.
get to that kind of commitment. And that's my next question. Like, is it genetic lottery or that's just how you're built?
Well, I'm not gonna lie na my height is an advantage for the sport talaga. But internationally speaking, I'm average or even below average with my height. But at least genetic lottery plays a factor only at some point. Like you mentioned you're a fan of Haikyuu, diba? Have you seen the season 4, the latest season?
But I watch it all on Netflix. Everything.
Okay. I think
Like,
you're so have you seen the Inarizaki arc? The one with the Mia twins, yung crazy twins.
yes.
Crazy twins, right? Well, not no ano naman, disclaimer, I'm not gonna spoil anything to the listeners, but one of their captain, si Kida, is one of my favorite players, the captain of Inarizaki. Siya yung he's the captain but he's not part of the first 6 if you remember.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Yeah. And yung one of my favorite episodes is he was on the sideline. He wasn't inside the court. And the episode was Monsters Ball. So you can watch it later. And one of the other teammates na not inside the court asked Kita something to the likes of parang there are monsters inside because the Mia twins are crazy. They're monsters. But Atsumo or Osamu, but one of the twins, Atsumo, is one of the more monster.
The better,
type.
they call it the
yung
better
medyo
one.
blunt.
Yeah.
And parang tinanong si Kita, bakit siya monster? Parang what makes him a monster? For Kita, when you label someone as a monster because of his genetic lottery, something like that, or parang when you brand someone as a phenom already, you disregard the effort of that
put through.
the hard work they put through. Like
Yes.
between the twins, diba, si Atsumo and Osamu, one just loves the sport a little bit more.
Yes.
They're both genetically gifted, but someone just loves the sport a little more to the point that he became more obsessive and put in more work.
Yeah.
And that made him a monster.
I remember the younger than parang saw it na parang I'm not sure if it was the same episode. I'm not but they were describing yung difference of their love also. That's why he thinks the other one will make it farther because more heart tapos iba na talaga yung naging system niya in approaching volleyball. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so going back to your question, genetic lottery, it can help, but only at some point. Like, you actually have to put in the hard work and the love for the sport to be branded as a monster in it. So that's what we're trying to do right now. Become a monster. Locally, at least.
I think, little steps. Parang it makes everything reachable. It also having those quote-unquote realistic expectations makes it easier for you to achieve at the same time, harder for you to fall in the same way. It hurts less if you're not able to, because ang hirap it's so hard to get back up once you've set such high expectations as well. Because of course, the disappointment. It becomes
Yeah.
too real, that kind of feeling. Now,
Yeah.
moving on to volleyball, I know we can talk about that for a long time, but
Yeah.
you are so many facets, Doc AJ. And recently, you've been way more active on social media. You joined TikTok with your educational and super funny like commentaries that, well, I for one, I'm always liking, and it's very entertaining.
Yeah.
Talagang it's a combination of educational and
Mhm.
also will make you laugh. So
Mhm.
it makes it attractive, you know?
Yeah.
Like you're actually thinking of what can attract. So tell us how that was like, because you didn't used to be active on social media. I remember when I met you,
Yeah.
you didn't even post a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But after that, tuloy-tuloy na, and then the pandemic, whoa, TikTok.
Yeah. Well, actually, well, thanks for liking my reels. Thank you for always supporting. But yeah, start of pandemic, just got curious about TikTok. That was the start of pandemic, and parang it's mostly mga dancing, and I tried to dabble with it a little bit. So parang after 5 videos, this is not for me. This is
Yeah.
not for me. So wala, just uh, just collected cobwebs, my TikTok account. And I revived it just a week ago. Just a week ago. But the realization to go to that is as a beach volleyball player, one of the downside of being a beach volleyball player here in a country na mas popular talaga ang indoor is I think I speak also at least for a lot of beach volleyball players around the world. I know the struggles, and unless you're in the elite level, or not even the elite level, unless you are the top player of your demographic or of your region, of your country, it's not a lucrative sport. Like a lot of the professional players, even in the US, have day jobs just to support their beach volleyball passion. And they get by with sponsorships talaga. To be a sustainable career, you really need sponsorships for beach volleyball. And it just so happened na in the span of when I went back into the sport, training with Henry since April, May, up until now, trying to look for sponsors to, kasi as you mentioned, yeah, everything is a lot of my expenses go into beach volleyball right now. Coaches, my supplements, training, everything is still out of pocket for now. So kung may mga sponsors dyan, please do reach out. But yeah, and to get sponsorship, it's all about social media right now.
It is. It
Like,
is.
I don't want to be shady, but you don't have to be the best player or best athlete in your sport. You just have to have the social media numbers to get the sponsorships. And even if I'm trying to be the best player in my sport, but I don't have the social media numbers, then yeah, ganun na yung labanan ngayon eh. The elite level beach volleyball players are recognize that fact. You don't have to be the
Yeah.
best. You just have to have the good social media numbers. So yun, that got me into YouTube looking at a lot of tutorial videos. Ganun ako eh, obsessive ako. Before I get into something that I want to do, I would obsess over it, researching, parang ano yung what do I need to do beforehand? So I watch a lot of YouTube videos, how to grow your Instagram in 2022, how to grow your TikTok in 2022. And it all suggested to focus heavily on TikTok and Reels, IG Reels. Synergistic naman sila. So, but to be able to really grow is to have a brand, to have a niche. And yun naman sa akin. And I identified it as beach volleyball and medicine and fitness, which I think I'm very much passionate about. Because to be one of the advices in these growth hacks for social media is to focus on something that you're really passionate about, so that hindi pilit pag naggawa ka ng content.
Yeah, yeah.
So right now, after 1 week of being highly active on TikTok, thank you so much to the followers. I grew by 2,500 in just 1 week.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy fast. Hindi pa siya nagti-trickle down to Instagram, but TikTok is like, yeah, it's crazy. But yun nga, every post that I make has to be well thought of, has to be, may mga check marks thought, well, it's in your, it's with your brand, it's with something that you really relate to, something out of your experience talaga, and something that is relatable. And so far, whenever I look at trends happening on TikTok, and even if it's way totally unrelated to either medicine or beach volleyball, I find ways to apply it para at least you're riding the trend, but it's on your brand. So hopefully I get to continue this momentum and eventually get the social media numbers enough to get a sponsor, at least to make it easier for me and my team to pursue higher level or to develop further in the sport in the long run.
That's so true. Parang no industry is ever forgotten when it comes to change and when it comes to technology. Na you just have to find a way on how you can make it work for you, because
Yeah.
whether we like it or not, technology has to be part of your arsenal of skills. Because
Yeah.
my goodness, and how it evolves also is so quick. You have
You have to
no
keep up.
time to catch up.
Yeah.
So it's either that kind of outlook, that kind of obsession that you have to put on it. Parang before, it used to be a special trait. You know how we hear that from like mga previous athletes na, I have that obsession. But nowadays, you see everyone have that kind of obsession and just apply it to really what they're passionate about. And I really wish we could talk about this more, Doc AJ. Like, we've barely touched the tip of the iceberg. I feel like there will be a part 2 for this. There really will. But for this part 1, if you were to put a brand for yourself, I know I've mentioned a lot of things that you're interested in, and we barely talked about also, yung Haikyuu pa, also
Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai as a frontliner, for fitness, the science of sports. We will discuss all that later, but to put yourself in, I guess, one word, one brand. What is the brand of AJ Pareja?
Oh my God, I haven't thought of that. I haven't thought of that in that way. Ano ba brand ko? I think it's balance talaga. Balance. We always mentioned it a lot in this episode. Balance, and it's something that I always get asked. How do I balance two equally demanding passions, beach volleyball and medicine? But we can save that story for another episode. But for me, it's balance. But with a little caveat na balance that it's not you're compromising something to achieve that balance, but you're maximizing both passions to achieve that balance. You get what I mean?
I do. And I think this shows just your personality, because everyone tends to be fixated on just one thing. And as a society, we've always prided ourselves na you have to be like soul-centric. Jack of all trades are very frowned upon, as they've always been, even in previous times, because they always think you're never just good at one thing. But it's so good to have this interview with you to see there is always a right and the best way to do something. That as you've said, it's really about finding the balance to be able to maximize that kind of situation, yung varying passions mo for you. But it will take a lot of work. It will take a lot of time, a lot of tries, but you really just have to be obsessed, and quote unquote, you have to be a monster for it.
Yeah.
So,
going back, actually, I just realized right now, it went full 360 na. That's why balance. That's why I love beach volleyball more than indoor, because I'm not focusing on one specific skill, but a lot of it, and it works for me right now.
Diba? And also finding your niche. I think that was one of also my biggest takeaways is it takes some time. Some people aren't so blessed as others to be able to find where they belong immediately, but never give up. Again, another cliche, but talagang...
Took me 33 years Took me 33 years. So you're good. If you're struggling in your teens, you're good.
All things take time to, I mean, it doesn't happen overnight. And you're proof of that, that success does come and it comes in different forms. And there are different ways to implement it in our life. And really, personally, Doc AJ, I learned so much from this interview and I'm so blessed by it. Like, thank you for the wisdom. Thank you for allowing me to finally interview you. I know it's been a busy year, but I look forward to part 2 of this interview. I'm already calling it.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Glad I can share some inspiration to the listeners. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you, Doc AJ. And thank you guys for listening. Again, feel free to comment also questions that you'll have for Doc AJ in the next one, because there will be. And thanks everyone again for listening, and Doc AJ for being part of this really insightful episode. Bye! Hang Time is sponsored by Cuts Apparel. So that's with a Z. Follow them on social media at Cuts Apparel PH and hit them up for your company and sports uniforms and button-down biking polos. That's at Cuts Apparel on social media.